Evacuations order. Folks felt safest leaving their homes in many cases. No one fled this killer storm because they were looking for a vacation or a road trip. So, folks, they left their home because they felt they had to flee the risk of death. There's nothing voluntary about that. And so I'm calling on private insurance companies. Don't hide behind the fine print and a technicality.
Mr. Biden reminded residents that they can get $500 in direct aid from FEMA for damage not covered by insurance. And you can apply on disasterassistance.gov or call 800-621-3362. Time now to check on your forecast. We want to check in with meteorologist Michelle Morgan for that. Hopefully it's getting a little cooler.
Yeah, and it feels pretty nice out there. We had drier air move into the area. Dew points are relatively low in the upper 60s, lower 70s in a few spots. And I'm not tracking any rain, so we are dry across southeast Louisiana. And we'll be fairly dry as we head into your Labor Day weekend. So look at these dew points. It's 69. In Kenner. So again, we're not dealing with high humidity values, and we're looking at that dry air to stick around for the weekend. So it's still going to be hot, but we won't be dealing with that oppressive heat or oppressive humidity. Temperature is not too bad. Upper 70s, mid 70s in Bogalusa. Still pretty warm in Reserve and Belle Chase, coming in the lower 80s. But notice the dew points in the next 7 days. We'll be in the lower 70s, upper 60s. So again, drier air will stick around, but I am actually expecting a cold front that's going to move through the area. Again, it's not going to do anything to our temperatures, but it is going to drop those dew points into the lower 60s, potentially upper 50s. So again, a little taste of fall. We'll see what happens. But as we take a look at tomorrow's forecast, not a whole lot of rain in the forecast. I'm looking for a 20% coverage of rain, less humidity, still hot, and temperatures climbing into the lower 90s. So not too bad. We're actually looking at lower 90s both Saturday and Sunday. So there are a few things I am looking at in the tropics. I'll go over all of that coming up in a bit.
Michelle, thanks so much. Crews are still working to clear power lines, and in some cases, they can't take damaged ones down with their usual methods.
Yeah, it's an update to a story that we brought you earlier tonight, and what you're about to see are wires hanging from an electrical tower in Harahan. They were dropped with dynamite. Took several hours of work to set up the explosives, and Danny Monteverdi was there. He tells us the explosion was earth-shaking. He gives us some background on why they took this drastic step.
These were some of the only lights in Jefferson Parish Friday night. Police and fire trucks in Harahan watched and waited. High above River Road, crews in a basket attached dynamite to power lines that once stretched across the Mississippi River. Now they lay in the water after a tower on the West Bank crashed down after taking a beating during Hurricane Ida. The goal is to drop the lines to clear the way for the river to reopen. Earlier in the day, police set up a 1,500-foot perimeter around the worksite at Hickory Street and the levee. Some neighbors left on buses. Others stayed home but were told to stay off the street until the work was done. By late afternoon, a helicopter carrying President Biden passed by overhead, surveying the damage that left all of southeast Louisiana in the dark. And as the night wore on, the work continued here and elsewhere to get the lights on once again.
Well, Entergy and CLECO both made big progress today, restoring power to communities on both sides of Lake Pontchartrain. Entergy released estimated restoration times. This is by parish, saying 90% of St. Bernard and Upper Plaquemines will be back on by Tuesday, September 7th, and the rest of the Metro New Orleans area should be 90% up and running by Wednesday, September 8th. Entergy had no estimates yet for areas directly in Hurricane Ida's path. From Grand Isle and Terrebonne Parish north through Tangipahoa Parish, Entergy and CLECO both rely on the regional power grid to re-energize their substations. So this morning, investigative reporter David Hammer asked Entergy Louisiana CEO Philip May if New Orleans took power from CLECO when a big transmission line from Slidell started feeding power to the city on Wednesday.
There are times when power may be drawn from that line from CLECO. There are times when power may be pushed from that line to CLECO. What we're trying to do, and we have established additional lines, as Deanna mentioned, is balance what we're seeing in this specific area, because it is still a system that is in a delicate balance.
CLECO spokeswoman Jennifer Cahill said the two utilities have been working well together to restore power to their customers.
And we did get some estimated restoration times earlier tonight for some of those lower parishes, including Plaquemines Parish no later than September 29th, St. John Parish September 17th, Terrebonne Parish no later than September 29th, Washington Parish September 10th, and Tangipahoa Parish September 17th. Those are the estimates for those areas that we did not previously have estimated restoration times for. A fight at a gas station in Metairie today left a man dead, and so far no arrests have been made. It happened a little before 5 tonight at a Chevron station on Clearview Parkway. Two men were waiting to fill up their cars with gas and were told they got into an argument when one man pulled out a gun and shot the other. The victim was pronounced dead at the hospital. Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe Lapinto urged the shooter to surrender, saying there were many eyewitnesses and his investigators have surveillance footage.
You know, another horrible incident today. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm pissed. You know, the gas station incidents that have been all day, this is at least the second time that guns have been pulled. This time we're going to have a person that's dead over it. It is unbelievable that people can't act like adults in this situation. You know, I expressed some things the other day, but it's ridiculous that my deputies are coming from place to place to place. Ladies and gentlemen, the services aren't here. We don't have enough gas home. We don't have enough gas being delivered to stations. We don't have enough generators on. The lines are long. Everybody's out of control. But for somebody to lose their life over getting gas is absolutely ridiculous.
Again, deputies are still searching for that suspect, and if you know anything that could help, call Crime Stoppers or the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office.
We got updates from a few school districts in the area today. School is still canceled until further notice in Jefferson, St. Tammany, and St. Bernard parishes. All three districts say they still have to finish assessing the damage to their buildings, and power is still out for the areas. Now, none of them say they plan to hold online classes. Now, New Orleans leaders announced the city will offer public transportation to state-run Hurricane Ida shelters. Now, that starts tomorrow. RTA will pick up people up from 12 facilities, including nursing homes and apartment complexes. The service begins again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Then it will be from 8 a.m. to 4 every day after that. If you'd like to go to one of the shelters, you have three options. You go to one of these pickup locations. We have this list on our website at free app. Take an RTA bus to the convention center, or you can take a coach bus directly to one of the shelters. If you're in a senior living facility, you can call 311 to be picked up. Our coastal parishes were absolutely devastated by Hurricane Ida.
They have now started that recovery process, but in many cases there just isn't much left to recover. Meg McDaniel gives us a look at the heartbreaking situation down in Terrebonne Parish.
Recovery here in Terrebonne Parish is going much slower than parish leaders were hoping for. That's because the damage from Hurricane Ida is so widespread and so severe, especially in bayou communities like right here in Montague. According to the latest damage assessment from the parish, about 60% of all homes in these bayou communities are unsafe to live in. There are no basic utilities, cutting them off from the rest of the world. Driving around, we saw homes without roofs. We saw homes with holes in them. We saw some homes that were simply gone. Getting supplies to these areas also presents challenges because there aren't enough to meet the need. Parish leaders say more supplies are on the way. It just takes time to get them here and get them distributed. Homes and businesses may be damaged here or in many cases destroyed, but the folks who call the bayou communities of Terrebonne Parish home are not giving up.
People aren't leaving. They so used to it. This is their life. This is their street, their neighborhood. They're not going to leave their house. We're going to pick up, start over. That's all we can do.
We're all like a big family over here, and this, it hurts. It hurts a lot, but this is going to make us stronger.
There is still no estimation in regards to time of how long it's going to take for those utilities to come back online. Even in the sweltering heat which we experienced today, folks who live down here are out cleaning up, picking up the pieces of their communities. Reporting from Terrebonne Parish, Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
Fortunately, we got those energy estimates just tonight, so that's something they can look forward to. Well, the decision to stay or leave during a hurricane can be just heartbreaking. Staying in Terrebonne, our Molly Oak talked to one man who chose to ride it out and has quite a story to tell.
All right. We're in downtown Berg, Louisiana.
This is home for Flynn Hub.
Come on in.
This is where he's lived for 25 years.
We see hurricanes all the time.
This is where he stayed during the storm.
2 ain't nothing. We ride a 2. Then next thing you know, it's a 3. Then next thing you know, it's a 4. You're already here. You can't go nowhere. You're going to ride it. I mean, and I took a ride.
Flynn's house used to be here, standing up on pilings.
When they're up in the air like that, they all rock and roll.
Now,
And as you can see, everything just snapped. And when they snapped, she rested on the ground in the bayou, and that's when I bailed out.
Flynn says he was inside his home when it collapsed into the water.
It was like an amusement ride. It just, boom, hit the ground.
That home now sits on top of broken pilings and his brother's car. The back part sits in the bayou.
You got to look at other people that got it worse than you, and you know what? We can rebuild.
As the winds of Hurricane Ida ripped through the area,
It beat us to death.
it took parts of buildings, took away access to power and water, took away some people's homes.
It's going to be a long time of cleaning.
But one thing Ida didn't take, his life.
Look at your house. What are you thinking right now?
I'm alive. That's it.
And that's why Flynn is grateful.
We persevere, man. That's how we do it.
That was Molly Oak, who, was down in Terrebonne Parish, just like I was earlier today. Sharice, it was quite a sight to see when you look at all the damage just kind of all around the city of Houma.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of cleanup efforts, and one of the things that was promising was the entire time over your live shot, it seemed like you had to scream over the noise of what seemed like construction or trucks that were moving behind you, but that's also a sign of progress, so that's great.
Yeah, for sure. It was great. It was one significant building downtown that's sort of a landmark building in downtown Houma, and it's one that just had its windows absolutely blown out by this storm. Just glass everywhere. You could still see it on the ground as you were on Main Street there in Houma. The building across the street was also a restaurant, and the neighbor next door said that they saw it like blow out during the storm. Just all of the bricks from the brick wall blew out, and it looked like somebody just ripped off the side of the building. And you saw a lot of similar sights to that as you went into the neighborhoods around there. Very piecemeal. One home can be just fine, and another home across the street can have the entire roof ripped off. So it was something to see, and hopefully they're going to get some help down there soon.
All right, let's hope for it.
Well, we also spent some time in Terrebonne, in Lafourche Parish today, and you can find that coverage on our website, wwltv.com. We're going to take a quick break.
We'll have a check of your forecast when we come back.
Alrighty, well, a weak boundary moved through the area earlier this morning and it brought somewhat drier air to the area. It was hot, but it wasn't as humid in many spots across southeast Louisiana and also southern Mississippi. We saw a few showers, isolated thunderstorms, but many of us remain dry. The good news is that drier air will remain over the area through the weekend. So it's going to be hot, but not as humid. And the dew points aren't too bad. Upper 60s in Kenner, lower 70s north of the lake in Bogalusa, Slidell, and Hammond. So again, I'll take the lower dew points because even though it's going to be hot, it won't be dealing with that oppressive humidity. Temperatures not too bad, starting to cool off nicely north of the lake. Hammond coming in at 75 and 75 degrees in Bogalusa. Still warm in Reserve, Kenner, and Belle Chase. But again, overnight temperatures will continue to fall in these areas into the upper 70s. Now, dew points will be in the lower 70s, upper 60s in a few spots again as we head into the weekend. But notice as we head into your Thursday and Friday, a cold front's going to move through the area, really dropping those dew points. So drier air is going to move right back in, and we could potentially see those dew points in the lower 60s and upper 50s. So that would be really nice. I'm not tracking any showers. We are dry, partly cloudy skies across the area. And tomorrow's planner, not too bad. Starting off with a good amount of cloud cover. Temperatures will start off in the upper 70s, lower 80s in a few spots. As we head into around lunchtime, 1 o'clock, we'll then climb into the upper 80s, lower 90s. Again, it's going to be hot, but not as humid. A mix of sunshine and clouds through the day, and a few spotty showers are possible, mainly along our coastal areas. But as I mentioned before, many of us will remain dry. So as we take a look at the models here, notice a few showers starting to bubble up across the area. Many of us remaining dry, partly cloudy skies. So tomorrow, it is going to be a somewhat decent day. As we head into Saturday night, showers off to the west in portions of Lafayette and also Morgan City, and then everything starting to fizzle off as we head into Saturday night. Now Sunday, abundant sunshine, so it's going to be sunny. It's also going to be hot when you get that daytime heating. A few showers are expected to flare up south of the lake, but again, quick heavy downpours, they'll be gone. Again, this is Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and talk about the tropics because we are getting closer to the peak date of hurricane season, which is September 10th. We have Hurricane Larry meandering out in the Atlantic Basin. Now it is a Category 3 hurricane. It intensified very quickly in the last 24 hours, not a threat to any land for the next several days, but it is expected to strengthen some more as we head into next weekend or the next weeks. I'll talk about that in a few moments, but I do want to draw your attention to this area, this messy spot that I am looking at, an area of disorganized showers and storms. It is forecasted to move into the Gulf as we head into next week. It has a low chance of development in the next couple of days, but notice a 30% chance in the next 5 days. We'll continue to watch it, but it has to survive a few things, land interaction and also some wind shear. But after Labor Day, it could potentially somewhat develop into something. We'll continue to watch it. So Invest 91, that's what it's called right now. We're investigating it. It is moving to the northwest at 16 miles per hour with winds of 25 miles per hour. So a lot of tropical moisture is associated with that same spot that I was talking about. And models kind of take it into the Gulf of Mexico, and it could potentially be a rainmaker to southeast Louisiana or somewhere along the Gulf Coast. But it is also going to interact with a cold front. That same cold front bringing somewhat drier air as we head into our Thursday and Friday. Next week, something we're going to continue to watch. We still have a long time to watch that area. And as I mentioned before, it has to survive a good amount of wind shear as it moves through the Gulf of Mexico Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday. So Hurricane Larry continues to churn in the Atlantic Basin. You could clearly see that eye. It's moving to the west-northwest at 16 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 115 miles per hour. Looks pretty good on satellite here, and it is going to continue to strengthen. It's not going to be battling any wind shear. Very warm water, and it is expected to strengthen into a Cat 4 as we head into Saturday night. And then Bermuda really has to watch this system because it could potentially be a big storm to that area as we head into Wednesday, but again, not a threat to us. Just to mention, we've already had 12 named storms of the season, so our next storm will be Mindy. So here's a look at your 7-day forecast. As we head into the weekend, hot, not so humid tomorrow, 92, partly cloudy skies, a few spotty showers. Same deal as we head into your Sunday. Some storms on Monday, 91, and then we could potentially be dealing with that tropical moisture as we head into your Wednesday and Thursday.
So City Park is home to the largest grove of live oaks in the world and means so much to longtime residents in New Orleans.
It really does. And Brooke Kirchhofer went to City Park to see how Hurricane Ida left its mark on the trees.
Cleanup is ongoing at City Park. City Park lost approximately 6 total live oaks, among other types of trees, after Hurricane Ida made landfall. But the historic grove of ancient live oaks weathered the storm once again.
In terms of damages, it's probably about 15 to 20% worse than Zeta.
Hurricane Zeta did provide major benefits for the park by thinning trees last October. The problem is the park's financial reserves are depleted from the cleanup last year, coupled by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Just think of the limited damage from Zeta, and that was about $200,000 in debris removal. So when we look at what's ahead, we're thinking it's about $500,000 in damages, and from a cash flow standpoint, that's really significant for us right now.
Park officials tell me it could be at least 1 month until City Park is back up and running. Right now, that's where their focus is as they clean up debris. But here at the North Course at Bayou Oaks, they're experiencing much more of the damage. Trees down on the course, much like this one here behind me.
Our current assessment is that we lost about 20 significant trees. So we're going to have to come back and look at a planting plan and a succession plan so that we make sure that we have the resiliency needed to keep that golf course looking like that wonderful Louisiana landscape that we expect.
Across the park, Tad Gormley Stadium overall held up well with minor damages. Dan Preciosi, director of grounds, says to avoid City Park Avenue as they work to clear the area. And if you are looking to volunteer, please wait until directed by the park.
It's been really nice to know that people are so interested in the park and want to see it recover well. And I'm pretty confident we're going to recover better than we have in the past.
Reporting in City Park, Brooke Kirchhoffer, Eyewitness News.
And if you'd like to donate to City Park, please visit friendsofcitypark.org. And if you're visiting the park, officials ask that you take your trash with you. Crews are not operating in the park. We'll be right back.
FEMA says it has received a record number of applications for aid following Ida, and many of those applicants are still waiting to get that much needed aid. They tell us the process is not easy. Here's Candace Charles.
Everything is soaked.
Brandy Bourgeois fled her home in Jefferson Parish the day before Hurricane Ida made landfall. Friday was the first time in nearly a week that she was able to return home.
There's just no way to live here, and I don't know where we're going to live.
A peeled-off roof, water damage, mold. It's what's left of her home. She says she filed insurance claims Saturday before Ida hit, but with a host of uncertainty in that process, she applied for FEMA assistance Monday.
Applying was not easy. Just making your password was not easy.
The next day, she found that she was denied, but was approved for $500 in miscellaneous funds. She has yet to see that money and knows it won't be enough to support her family.
I have kids that are counting on me. I don't know what to tell them. I try not to let them see me cry, but I don't know what to tell them.
Now Bourgeois is one of hundreds of thousands waiting for FEMA funding. Many applicants were denied, but to the immigrant community, just being an applicant is a privilege many of them are not provided.
It's the same thing that everyone's going through, but they're not going to get a FEMA check. They're not going to get their hotels reimbursed.
Alfredo Salazar and Rachel Tabor of Union Migrante have been helping immigrants impacted by Hurricane Ida, the organization that's transported evacuees to Panama City. But with many immigrant evacuees lacking a social security card, they're unable to apply for financial assistance, no matter how bad they may need it.
We're seeing again a government system that favors the rich and leaves behind the poor, working class, and those who are undocumented.
Candace Charles, Eyewitness News.
And that's our news. Thanks for watching.
Have a great night and be safe. We'll see you right here tomorrow.